Hi. Not used to seeing me by myself, are ya? I'm Michelle. This is maybe Knitwood in the Sticks. I'm not actually positive what I've got going on here. This is not to replace the Naughty Knitwits, and I'll probably seem a little bit lost. I might look over to my left and wonder why nobody's laughing at the stupid things that I say, because that's Leslie's job, and Leslie's not here. But as you might know, Leslie, that might help, because then I'm just a blur and I can't see what I look like, which is probably helpful. I've been podcasting for so long, but I never sit here by myself and do it. So it is a little bit different of a feel. But anyway, Leslie's husband is having surgery, and I don't know where to look because I'm usually looking at Leslie. But anyway, Leslie's husband is having surgery in a couple of days, and so she's probably going to be off, I was going to say off the market, but that sounds totally wrong. Probably not available to podcast for a little while. I'm not really sure. But what I'm doing today is not like a Naughty Knitwits knitting podcast. As you might know, someone who stays home and doesn't leave their compound very much, I went on a really big adventure. I went to Maryland for 2 weeks to visit my daughter, and I want to talk about it. I've got a lot to say. And so if Leslie and I were recording a podcast and I talked for an hour about my trip, nobody wants to hear that. But if you want to hear it, you're here. So hopefully, I know my husband's going to watch because I haven't shown him all the pictures from my trip. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through my iPad and look at pictures and narrate them for you. Because, isn't that what you want to do, is sit and look at pictures with me? Sure it is. So anyway, I went to Maryland from Portland, and I've talked about my fear of flying before, and I am proud to say, not proud because it wasn't my own doing, but I'm relieved to say that I did not need to take my flying pills, my happy little flying pills, which is it was absolutely an answer to prayer. I'd been praying about it for a long time before going. I really didn't want to take my happy flying pills, but I do tend to hyperventilate and cry and just get kind of weird when I get near airplanes. And I'm not afraid of dying. I've talked about that before. I have no fear of death because as a believer in Jesus, I know that I'm going to spend eternity in heaven, and that's going to be a whole lot better than this shit show than this world that we're living in now. And so that's not the problem. It's just, I don't know, airplanes, those big engine noises. I could go on, but it went great. I had a great experience, so yay. Got there, and the first day that I got there, I'd taken a red-eye flight, and so I slept a few hours. I will tell you honestly that I transitioned to East Coast time way better than I have been transitioning back to West Coast time. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, so the first day, Renata and her boyfriend Connor picked me up from the airport, and then I went back to their place and I slept a little bit, and they went to work, and then they came home, and I don't even know, that first day is kind of a blur. But the second day we went to the Maryland Zoo. And so my goal here is that you're not going to just be sitting here looking at me as I don't know where to look on the camera. So I'm probably looking off into space. I see dead people. No. The goal is I'm going to try to put pictures in here to show you, but you also might know that my editing skills kind of suck. And so there's going to be times where you see me, and I apologize for that. But anyway, we went to the Maryland Zoo, and here, hopefully you're looking at a picture of me and Connor and Renata on the train there, which was a total joke because the Oregon Zoo has an awesome train that takes you all through the zoo, and it's really a good way to get the layout of the zoo. This train, you get on and you start, going, and you're thinking, oh, cool, I'm going to go see the zoo. And you go 5 minutes, and then you loop around and you come back, and that's your train ride. But we got a good picture of us, and that's what it's all about, right? Getting the good selfie. So there we are. Okay, So never in my life have I ever. I could play that game. I remember my kids used to play that game, the Never Have I Ever, and I was like, I don't know, what have I never done that I want to talk to my kids about? But anyway, I had never seen flamingos live in person. I'd only seen them as those stupid, sorry if you have them, those flamingo, the pink flamingos in the yards. You know, the plastic yarn naturally comes out of my mouth. I mean, yarn doesn't come out of my mouth, but the word does. And yard flamingos, I don't know. They just didn't make me think I love flamingos. But seeing flamingos live, oh my gosh, they are so cool. They're like one of the coolest animals ever. In case I'm not inserting a picture, look at that. They're so cool. And then the way they put their heads in the water and they like go back and forth, it is so cute.
Standing atop the water, this guy's eyes closed deep.
I wonder what they eat. I'm sort of bad with your tongue.
Apparently, it's what they eat that makes them change. I don't know if I can let that out. It's their diet that changes that.
They're like so cute. Look at them.
They are. It's synchronized. Okay, moving on to the next bird that I tell you, as I've gotten older, I just love birds. Pelicans. Pelicans are so cool. They have that big long beak that they like, it's like a sword. And the only pelican I've ever seen was on Finding Nemo. So getting to see these pelicans live was just amazing. Obviously, because there I am contemplating them. Okay. Now I'm coming to this picture of, this was really cool. When you first walked into the zoo, they had this area with these old cages, which is how the zoo used to have their animals housed, which is really sad and tragic, you know, in reality. But seeing these old cages, how it used to be, I just thought was really cool. I like that zoos now, you know, put the animals in a more natural setting. But to be honest, zoos, I'm kind of torn about them. They make me sad because, you know, animals are in captivity and that's sad. But I also like to go see them. So after that, we stopped at Guinness Brewery. I don't know if it's called Open Gate Brewery. It looks like that might be it. It's called Open Gate Brewery and they serve Guinness. Okay, so this was such an experience for me because I don't get out much. No menus. There's no menus in the place. They have those little QR codes on the table and you take your phone and you open the menu. And then they don't come take your order. You, on your phone, you just order what you want and then they bring it and then you pay on your phone. So that was I kind of have mixed feelings about that because I'm still expected to tip because someone brings me my food, but I did most of the work. But it was also kind of fun. So, you know, I will say I got a really good beer there, but I got a burger and it was the weirdest tasting burger I've ever had in my life. I won't say it's the worst burger I've ever had because that one happened in Rainier, but I didn't really care for it. So I don't know if Guinness cows are just weird, but anyway, I made my first souvenir purchase at their gift shop because I saw this shirt. Is that not the cutest? Because guess what? I also found out I love turtles. But anyway, I got this for my husband. I fell in love with that. Just this turtle taking a glass of beer. And then the front of it says anticipation, which, I don't know, thought it was cute. So, first purchase. I really didn't buy a lot on my trip. I spent a lot on, like I didn't go grocery shopping a lot, but when we did go to the store and I bought stuff, it was expensive. And when we ate out sometimes, you know. So what I'm saying is I mostly spent money on food. So that's why I really need to stop eating. Okay. So, okay. Then also we went to this place. I just have to talk about it because it was so good. Called The Hideaway. Somewhere in Odenton. And the first night, or the first time we ate there, because we ate there twice, I got this thing called the Waffled Pig. That should have been my new Instagram name. It's a crispy waffle made with cornbread stuffing, topped with a mound of creamy mashed potatoes. We had a healthy dose, of award-winning pulled pork and drizzle it with gravy, served with cranberry sauce. Now that is not something I would normally order, but I knew it was not something I would ever find here in the area that I live, so I had to try it, and it was good. I wouldn't get it again, but it was good. And then I also took a picture of this because this is just crazy. Fatty melt. No, this is not a typo. 7 ounces of our burger blend, sauteed onions, bacon, lettuce, tomato, and our special sauce. I mean, it's all sounding good up to this point. Between 2 tasty grilled cheese sandwiches. Okay. All right, so then you're seeing probably a picture of Renata's boyfriend Connor in his suit that he was getting fitted for. They went to a adult prom at that same zoo that we'd gone to. There's some building there or whatever. But they had these tickets with their friends, another couple, and I didn't want to, I wanted my kid to still live her life. I was there for 2 weeks. That's a long time to intrude on someone's life. So they were going to this adult prom, which was really cute because then I got to see them all dressed up. So here's some pictures of Renata. I actually wanted some pictures of her and her boyfriend and her friends, and she didn't send them to me, so I'll have to ask for that. But anyway, so they went and did that, and I just, hung out at their place and knit and watched TV, and I mean, it's fine with me. Then we went to the aquarium in Baltimore. And I didn't take a lot of pictures there, but it was, it was nice. It was cool. And I will tell you, there was some restaurant. Baltimore's really cute, this little area with the harbor. And there were 2 restaurants that we had to decide between because that's what it's all about. You're going to notice a theme here. There was a fish place, and I don't know the name of it. And then there was a Hard Rock Cafe right next door. And I was kind of leaning Hard Rock Cafe just because there's a giant guitar on the top of the building. And the only time I've been in one was in Las Vegas. I don't remember thinking the food was awesome. And we kind of decided, okay, the food's kind of chain-like, and it's probably loud. And there's this fish place. We decided for the fish place, even though I'm allergic to shellfish. Well, I ended up ordering the fish, and I'm only telling you this. I'm not going to tell you every meal that I ate. I can't remember every meal I ate, but this was the best fish I've ever had in my life. It was lightly breaded, and it wasn't greasy, and it was just so good. And I don't know the name of the place, so I can't even tell you. Well, I can tell you, because if you go there and you're in Baltimore and you're at the aquarium and you come out and you walk around and you see the Hard Rock Cafe, go to the restaurant to the left of it. But anyway, here's a couple pictures of me and Renata, in the giant shark mouth. So fun. Every aquarium has one of those. So then there was the DC trip. So I told you guys, I think I'm just going to sit back and talk for a minute, get myself all comfy. I had told you guys before that I had these 3 days planned for DC. We were going to go the first day, and that day we were going to the Holocaust Museum, and then that night we were doing this moonlit bus tour. So let me start there. The Holocaust Museum, kind of funny. So I've been obsessed with World War II history, for a really long time, and the Holocaust. And so I have read probably at least 100 books on World War II and the Holocaust, and it's just something that's been near and dear to my heart. For whatever reason. And so I have a lot of, I know a lot. I didn't realize how much I knew about it till I went to this museum, and it was like, okay, yeah, I know that. Not like, oh, I know that, but if you've been there, there's not a lot of things to look at. It's a lot of reading, and it was like, okay, I've already read that somewhere. I've read that somewhere. It's a very somber place. And another thing I would tell you about Washington, D.C. is, and I hadn't thought about this, but field trips, oh my gosh, bus after bus after bus of field trips. And that's great, but also kind of annoying. I kind of would love to go there with just a few people and have the rest of the city be, but I will tell, oh my gosh, Washington, D.C. is so much cleaner than Portland, Oregon. You can't even compare the two. And we took mass transit, which I actually have some pictures of because I don't do mass transit, but I mean, where I live, there's hardly any. There probably is none, but I did live closer to Portland, and I still chose not to do it for the most part because drunks passed out on the bus all the time. They were stinky. You felt like your life might be in danger. Totally different story there. Clean, not a drunk to be seen. I saw maybe one homeless tent in Washington, D.C. It was like so different. But anyway, what was my point? The Holocaust Museum. So we're there, and we're on this one floor. It was several floors, and it was cool. I'm not knocking it. I think that, if you have an interest in it, you should go. If you already know a lot about the Holocaust, I don't know, might not be if you're short on time like I felt like I was. But anyway, so we're in this museum where it's all somber, it's very serious, as it should be. But I see this thing, like this actual thing that I can go look at, not just read on a wall. So I'm all excited. So I go over there to look at it, and I bend my head down to look. Bam! There was glass there. So I hit my head really hard on this glass case in a dead silent room. So everybody heard it and looked at me. And then what do? I start laughing, because that's what you do when you do something stupid. But laughing in the Holocaust Museum is, well, in poor taste, but I just hit my head on a glass that was left a big smudge mark on the glass. Renata's like, I don't know her. I'm not with her. I'm with this field trip because she could fit in with a field trip. So that was that. And anyway, then we went on the Moonlit tour, which was awesome. I guess if I had to do it over again, I would be a great tour guide. If I would love to go back to DC and just do everything all over again, but knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't do the Moonlit tour. Although it was kind of nice because some of the monuments weren't as crowded. We did unfortunately get kind of like one stop behind, and so a lot of overlap with a busload of college football players. And they're loud and obnoxious. I'm just going to say it. They like to be the center of attention. They were just obnoxious. So there you have it. But let's go back. I digress. Let's go back. Let's get to the my pictures are a little bit out of order because Renata had sent me some. Well, okay, here's a couple because this is funny. All right, I don't know. I don't remember exactly where we were at some of these places, and so you're seeing one of me and Renata and duck butts in the air. That was at one of the first stops that we made on this tour, and there's a statue of like Grant, and so maybe I don't know if the Grant monument, I don't know, but anyway, Renata thought the ducks were funny. And then there's President Grant up on his horse. Everything there is so pretty. Not everything, but there's a lot of pretty stuff there. I'm not going to try to actually go in total order because I'll just get confused. I'm just going to look at my pictures and tell you what I'm seeing. So, and this did have, oh my gosh, we walked so much, and I was going to buy new shoes when I got there, and I just took these shoes, these Skechers that are pink and have little pearls on them. They're cute, but bad shoes for walking in. They're too small. And so like several days before we were going to DC, Renata mentioned, oh, didn't you want to go shoe shopping? And I was like, yeah, whatever, not putting two and two together that the only shoes I took were uncomfortable shoes that were too small and not good for walking in a city where you walk, like we walked 7 miles every day. So, anyway, I digress. We were walking, and at this point, it was before my feet started hurting really bad. So there's the Washington Monument, and it was cool. The Washington Monument wasn't my favorite thing there, and then here we are, maybe if you're seeing it on public transportation, and I didn't wear eye makeup at all because my eyes were watering all the time, so forgive how I look. The Place of Justice, just their buildings there are just so cool looking. Maybe I'll do this so I remember that I want to put that picture in. I don't know. I'm not good at editing, you guys know. The archives, that building, I'm gonna do this. Look at that. I mean, it is so cool. I just love the buildings. And the Congress, House of Congress, whatever, Capitol building. Perhaps that's what it's called. I was just so enamored with all of these places that I have read about, like my whole life, especially the, I think I'm going to be putting in a video here of wherever we were, the war memorials. I mean, that's what it was all. I just loved seeing the war memorials. They were incredibly awesome. We'll come back to that. So here we are at the White House. Don't really care about the White House right now because I'm just going to say it. I don't think I even need to say it. Yeah, I don't think I even need to explain why I wouldn't care about the White House. But anyway, across the street across the lawn from the White House, there is, I'll do this to remind me to put these pictures in. So back in 1981, someone went to get a permit to protest at this prime spot right across from the White House. And the person that issued the permit forgot to put an expiration date. And so ever since June 3rd, 1981, 24/7, 365, someone has been in this tent, probably at least one person, protesting whatever they can think of to protest. Because, so I'm zooming in on this so you can see, if you can see the guy. Oh, you get a lot of reflection there, sorry. Anyway, I thought it was funny. Being from Portland, the home of the protesters, I just thought this was kind of funny. So then we went, one of the stops, of course, was the World War II Memorial, and that was it's hard to say. I was going to say it was my favorite memorial. They're all awesome. They're all honoring people that deserve to be honored for fighting for this country. This one was beautiful. This fountain in the middle and all of the states represented with, these. And this was where the football team was really loud and obnoxious, but whatever. It was such a neat place. If you haven't been there you can see, again, I'm hoping that I'm actually putting the pictures in so you can see them better, but in case I don't line them up correctly or get them, you could be looking at a picture of the zoo right now. I hope not. I hope I do better than that. But so it was neat on the Moonlit tour to see the Washington Monument lit up like that. The reason I was saying that maybe the Moonlit tour would be better in the day is because it would be in the day. But because some of them, like the Vietnam Memorial and the Korean War one, it was kind of dark by the time we were there. But I don't know. So at both ends of this memorial, there were two big things like this. I'm just going to show pictures so I don't have to think of the words. One was for the war that was fought over the Pacific theater, and then one for the European ones. And then inside each of them, I don't know if you can see it in these pictures, but there's 4 big eagles. I know you can Google this stuff. You could look at this stuff. You could see great pictures online of everything that I'm trying to show you my crappy pictures of. But I was there and it was so cool. The wall of the stars. I think each star represents 400 servicemen that were killed in the war. And the wall just goes on and on. It's really, I might be wrong on the numbers, but that seems to stick in my head. And then, of course, the iconic Lincoln Memorial. I mean, call me a stupid tourist, but it was so cool to be there and see it. Again, just doing this, so I hope that I'm lining up my pictures with. And then here's the Vietnam Memorial. It was really cool. And it's so funny how these awesome memorials, if you don't know that they're there, I mean, once you've been there and then we took the bus a few times around the city, and then I was like, oh, that's where that is. It's right there. I would go there all the time if I lived there. And then one of the most iconic of all times. I mean, so cool. So cool. And okay. So that was the first night in DC. And then the next morning, poor planning on my part. So we got back from this Moonlit thing probably 11. And then we had to be over at Arlington National Cemetery at like 7:30 the next morning. So Renata did an awesome job figuring out this whole public transportation thing. It's set up really great. It was so easy to get around, but she figured it all out. If it had been on my hands to figure out, I would have been Ubering it and paying 4 times as much, and at least, because it was very inexpensive to hop on this. So this was really cool. So we have Max here, not the bus, but like the train thing. Their train thing to go from Washington, D.C. over to Arlington National, which is in Virginia, went underwater. You didn't get to look out the window and see fish because you're in a tunnel, but it was so cool. We're underwater. This is amazing. I get impressed pretty easy, but anyway. So we watched the changing of the guard of the unknown soldier at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I am Sentinel Segura of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, United States Army. Guard of Honor, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The ceremony that you are about to witness is the changing of the guard. In keeping with the dignity of this ceremony, it is requested that everyone remain silent and standing. Thank you. On! March! Guards! Halt! On! March! Guards! Halt! Port! Out! Ready? Fence! Present! Out! Port! Out! Ready? Fence! Pass. On your orders. Halt. And order. Remain as directed. Orders. Acknowledged. Ready? Fence! Reset.
And so the thing that really, like, I loved Arlington National Cemetery. Again, here's one of those things, if I had it to do over again, I would not have done this. This tour that I had set up for that day was the cemetery walking tour, again, the monuments, which I didn't really realize. I didn't realize I was double booking. Like, basically it was going to be going to all the monuments and war memorials that we'd just done the night before, and then a boat ride. And so anyway, the first thing was the Arlington National Cemetery, and it was like, I think it was supposed to be 3 hours, but I don't know that we were even there 3 hours. It went by like that. We walked and walked and walked. Our tour guide was like zipping around, and I could have spent all day there. I love cemeteries. I wanted to read like every tombstone, which probably would take a few days, but it was like, that's the one thing I wish I had done differently. But what was so moving to me, like the Arlington National Cemetery just chokes me up to even think about it. But what actually ended up choking me up was this. You're seeing veterans in their wheelchairs. Look at me, I'm choked up now. I'm such a dork. Anyway, that was moving to me. So now you're just seeing like the space shuttle, different memorials to that. The one, well, I'm just going to add the pictures so you can see it. This is the one in honor, in case you can't read it, in honor of members of the United States Armed Forces who died during an attempt to rescue American hostages held in Iran in April 1980. And I remember that. I remember like the yellow ribbons that were all on the trees and stuff. I was old enough to know, obviously, but I was a teenager. But anyway, then this one's pretty cool. The in grateful and loving tribute to the brave crew of the United States Space Shuttle Challenger, 28 January 1986. That's another one of those things where we all know where we were when that shuttle blew up, and I think probably a lot of us were watching it. It was pretty moving. So just some more pictures. Just really cool. I just thought this one was cool. Like I said, I wanted to go look at all of these because they were so cool. Well, let's see. Just really pretty. I think this is the Robert E. Lee house, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, let's see some. Okay, I passed one of these pictures I took because you can see the Pentagon. Okay, I zoomed in on it here so you can see it. See that flat area there? That's the Pentagon. And maybe you guys all know this. I'm the only one that never leaves home. Okay, so here we are at the Kennedy JFK Memorial or gravesite, whatever. It's a big deal there. Such a big deal that they have like this really pretty there's a lot of marble there, and I love marble. Really pretty marble with this big sign that says be quiet. Out of respect, be quiet, which makes sense. But here again, so our group, this tour group that I was in, was maybe 8 people. And one of the people was this man that came over from Ireland. And our tour guide, like, okay, here's the Kennedy thing, zoom, he's gone. And he never looks back to see if any of us are following him. And as you probably know, Arlington National Cemetery is a pretty big plot of land. And so he's just walking away, leaving us. So we're all kind of like spaced out. We're trying to keep ourselves together so that we don't lose anyone, which maybe he should have done. I'm deflecting because of what I did. So the guy from Ireland's like MIA, and someone said, oh, he's back, he's still looking at the Kennedy thing. So I yell, come on, Ireland, let's go. And again, Renata's like, you're supposed to be quiet here. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassing you, I'm an idiot. But anyway, they had this whole area of women in military, which I think would have been kind of fun to look at, but our tour guide just needed to use the bathroom, so that's why we stopped there. So I might sound bitter. I'm not really bitter. Again, if I could do it over again, I'd do it differently, and I hope to drag my husband over there one of these days, because I would love to go back. So anyway, we departed from our group at that point, when we got back over to DC. And I mean, I didn't even get to go to the gift shop at Arlington National Cemetery. That's probably one of the gift shops that I would have bought something from. And yes, I can probably go online. But anyway, we departed from our group over when we got back to DC and found out what time the boat ride was supposed to be. But I will tell you right now that it was unseasonably, I think the weather's just weird, but it was much colder there than I thought it was going to be. And so poor Renata was freezing. And I wasn't sure about the whole boat ride thing, but the plan was we were going to meet back up over in Georgetown, which just sounds cool. I wanted to go. It's okay, Renata, if you're watching, the way things turned out. Flexibility. Lori and I talked about, remain flexible on your trip. So anyway, Renata and I took off. We were going to go to a few Smithsonians and just kind of do whatever, and then meet back up with the group and do the boat ride if we felt like it. So we went to one of those Brazilian steakhouses for lunch. We got the salad bar, and she had lamb and I had some beef. But anyway, we mostly ate the same stuff, but she had the lamb, I had the beef. Well, then we leave there and we hit one of the Smithsonians, and then we went and I was not hugely impressed, I'll be honest, with the Smithsonians. I kind of felt they were very left-leaning propaganda houses. Got a real anti-American, let's just say they're very woke. I felt that they were very woke, and I'm glad I didn't pay money to go in because I would have been very disappointed. But anyway, we went into the one of natural whatever, and Renata started not feeling great. We went to the bathroom a couple times, and then we went into the one of American history, which I thought was going to be military history because that's what I love. But it was just like pop culture stuff, and I don't care about that. Well, she really started feeling sick. Like, when you eat something bad and what that does to your body. So you don't want to be in public bathrooms when that's going on. So I felt really bad for her. So we went back to the hotel. And we just thought, let's just, we'll take a break. We'll see. My feet were like excruciatingly hurting. It was terrible. And then she was needing the toilet. I'm sure she's loving me talking about this, but we're all adults. We've all eaten at Taco Bell. We know what happens. So, but that was the bummer, is we spent pretty good money on this lunch. We didn't do food carts. We went to a nice place, and she still ended up with a colon cleanse. But anyway, she never really felt better. So we stayed in that night, and I got my first experience with DoorDash. So that's why the picture of the noodles and with the Brussels sprouts on top, which were really good. But anyway, I thought it was, I told her, you know what? I don't care what we're doing. I'm going to cherish these memories every bit as much as I would cherish a memory of walking around a museum or whatever. This is great. But look at that tiny TV in the hotel room. I took that picture to send to my husband. It was like, this is the smallest TV, I think, in existence today. Okay, so now I have to talk a little bit more about the rest of the stuff we did. What did we do? Before I jump to the Fiber Fest. I know there's other things I want to say about my trip. Well, Renata crocheted me a flamingo because of my newfound love for flamingos. Isn't that cute? And then she tried to teach me to do a bat. And I mean, I can crochet, but I didn't do good on the bat. And so I left it there. I didn't even get the wings on it. So I told her, you can finish the bat for me and send it to me. All right, well, I guess we'll just jump on ahead to the Fiber Festival then. Oh, I did buy, I was going to show, I really was good. I did not do a lot of shopping, but one of the things that I got at the Holocaust Museum totally doesn't go with Holocaust Museum. Well, I mean, it kind of does. It totally goes. Are these cool bookmarks. And this one is of someone parachuting in on D-Day. And then I got one of General Patton. So, big shopper that I am. I mean, I am kind of a big shopper, but I wasn't a big shopper this trip. So the Fiber Fest. I feel like I'm forgetting something really significant. What did we do on the last day? Oh, of course I'm forgetting something big. The last day in DC, we went to the Bible Museum, the Museum of the Bible. And it was awesome. It was the best museum. For one, no public school tours, no field trips except for Christian schools to the Bible Museum. But it was really nice. Granted, it's a little bit newer probably than a lot of the things there. So it was in tip-top shape, but gosh, it was just great. It really was. I loved it. Best museum we went to. I totally loved it. So there you go. All right, so fast forward. Now we're getting towards the end of, I did go get some shoes. I got some good old Merrell boots for the rest of my trip because I was so mad at the shoes that I had been wearing. So the Fiberfest was pretty fun, I have to say. Connor and Renata went. I keep putting Connor before Renata, I don't know why. I guess Renata and Connor, Renata. I think it sounds better. Connor, Renata, it just flows better. He's a nice guy, I have to say. When you meet your kid's significant other, you're always relieved when you like them. And he was very nice, very hospitable. And here's a picture of them, which I took because I was meeting up with some lovely friends from Instagram. And so I posted a picture like, hey, look for these two, because if you see these two, you'll see me. And here's Connor, again, being a good sport, spinning. All right, this I thought was so cool, but I can't tell you who did this because she didn't have an online shop, and I was like, I'm not trying to put that in my suitcase. Connor spinning. Still spinning. That's a pattern. Okay, here we are in the animal area. I took this little video just so my husband could hear the sounds that he frequently hears at home. So I went to this one. I should just pull out the business cards to remind me of the different shops that I went to. But I went to this one shop called Cinnamon Treasures, Joe and Amy Whitmer. I had never seen, it's like beeswax things that she infuses with cinnamon. And I bought some. This is not one that I bought. This is one that Renata bought. But I wanted to have a picture because the stuff that I bought, I asked them to send to me. And I don't have it yet to show you, but I got a few things there. Because that's not something I'd seen here. I thought they were really neat. As soon as you walk in there, you just smell the cinnamon smell. It's so nice. And so that was cool. I'll get that this next week, I'm sure. Oh, this is kind of funny. I don't know that you'll care, but this finsheep.net is their website. My Connor, Renata's boyfriend, is from Finland. He's first generation here, but his parents came from Finland. And there was this shop there that, this Finland shop. And so he got talking to the guy. Well, the guy grew up in Portland, Oregon, which is kind of funny. Like, what are the odds? So, that's that. Okay. I guess I don't. Oh, yeah, I do. So I have some pictures of the lovely ladies that I met at the Fiberfest, and I'm just going to throw out some names here. I'm not going to be able to match them up with the picture. I met Emmy and Sylvia and Jess and Betsy and Michelle and Trish and another person I won't name. You know who you are, but you told me not to name you, so that sounds really sketchy. But and there may have been some others that I didn't catch, and I apologize. But I mean, it was so sweet and nice to get to actually meet people there that, have listened to me ramble, kind of like I'm doing now. Here's some more pictures of, I'm totally skipping over some purchases, but let me just, again with the food. So we went back to the barbecue place, the Hideaway in Odenton. I said, that's really where, they were talking about, we could go to Indian food that we like. We could go to this place. I'm like, let's go back to the barbecue place because I don't care about Indian food, but you give me some cornbread and beer, I'm happy. So that's what that is. Some cornbread and beer. And then brisket and Brussels sprouts. So that was good. All right. So the Fiberfest purchases. Didn't buy much. I saw lots of cool stuff, but I didn't need to buy much. But I got Renata a cute little purse, a felted wool purse, and I'm going to ask her for a picture, but from Cool Wool. But I think she said she's not going to be restocking her shop, but she might make some more stuff later. One of the first places that I saw the first place that I saw when we went into the festival was the Cinnamon place. And then we happened to go right by Matter Root, which I've kind of loved following their shop ever since Leslie got one of their bags. And so, you guys know I don't need another bag. But of course I bought another bag because who could resist this one? It's got the cute little, you roll it down and then you buckle it. And I'll probably struggle with this because I struggle with buckles, but oh, look at that, like a pro. Isn't that so cute? And you can roll it down more. I mean, you can roll it all the way down if you want. I had a lot of practice with rolling things like this because that Portland leather backpack, I can almost reach it, that I bought before my trip was perfect for my carry-on. And then when I was packing to leave, I went and bought some of those Space Saver bags, that you can like fit more stuff in. And I did that because my friend who shall not be named, Celtic Knitter 911, Celtic Heart. No, I think it's Celtic Heart. Whatever. You don't want to be named. You don't want to be associated with me. Whatever. She showed that she had these Space Saver bags for her suitcase. And I was like, I need that. So we went and got some. And I thought it was the kind that you hook up the vacuum to, but it wasn't. It was like you do this rolling thing and you like kneel on them and you get the air out, and they worked. But so I did that to get home. And then once I was home, I just used them to pack up a lot of my winter clothes. So I've had a lot of practice doing this lately. Just some more useless information. So yeah, and it's got the cute little yarn balls in there. So cute. So I got that in a sweatshirt that maybe I'll put a picture in because I've already packed it away because I don't need it. It's gonna be like 90, I think 87 today is the forecast. So, which after all the rain we've had, I'm not gonna complain. I actually will be complaining. Check back in a few hours and I'll be complaining about the heat. But Jess, Mama Jess Knits, dyed Leslie and I each, she did dye it. I don't know that she dyed it for us, but she gave us, it's called Knit Night, and it's very pretty. So, thank you, Jess. I only bought one skein of yarn at this event, which is pretty impressive. Because I don't need more yarn. I just shook you. But this is Fiber Optic Yarns. I couldn't decide if I loved this or hated it, but I think I love it. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It caught my attention. It's the MDSW 2023 colorway called Kimber. It's an awesome base. It's cashmere, wool, and nylon. I think I just had to have one of the Fiberfest colorways, and the Miss Babs ones I was kind of on the fence about. I almost bought, she had like a pinkish one and a bluish one, and I liked them both, but they were, I don't know, just nothing really captured this one was different. Again, there's like parts of it that I really like, and then I look at it and I'm like, what am I going to use that? I'm not going to use that for anything. So it is going to end up in advent calendars this year. So my friends that get my advent calendars will get a little piece of the Maryland Fiber Festival. I didn't buy souvenirs for people. I don't know. But I did purchase a new Yarn Swift. And so I'm going to try to do a video showing it in action and tell you why I loved it so much. So we'll insert that here. But it was by Yarn Tech. But it's got some features that I really like. So I wound up one hank of yarn for Renata just by hand because she doesn't have a ball winder, and it worked perfectly. It was great. Yesterday I tried, so one of the things that I'd shown a picture of, I took a picture, there was a cowl there that I really liked, so I took a picture of the name of it, and I can't remember what it was. We'll see here's the here's a sweatshirt. Just show the animal that I got from Matterroot, because it's not enough that I have them out in the yard. I gotta wear them too, right? Okay, so the pattern that I liked is called Secrets and Storms Cowl. And so I went on to Ravelry and I looked at it, and the one that I liked the best was using some yarn by Rista. It's Rios Met. Oh, I don't know. You know me, I don't remember, but I'll insert some pictures. But anyway, so I ordered that yarn because I wanted to do it just like I saw it in the picture. But then when I got it, one of the colors doesn't look anything really like the one that I saw. I'll put a picture in here so that you can see what I saw, and then I'll show you what I got. And it's kind of different, but I'm just going to go with it. So I wound one of them up yesterday and then thought, practice, see how it goes, because I'm hoping that this thing works great. It wasn't great. It was good, but it wasn't the Swift's fault. It was, how sometimes there just gets to be like this one strand and it just messes everything up. It can't be me. So it was definitely the Swift. I mean, not the Swift. It wasn't the Swift. It's the yarn people. I'm telling you, it's the yarn people. But anyway, the Swift itself actually comes with this other, I'm just going to show, I just can't. I'll show you over there. But I'm trying to unbury something else. I don't know, I might just call that, because there's something else I wanted to share about, but I'll just record again because I have to go to the bathroom. Just pee. TMI. Anyway, so stand by. I might be back with more, but yeah, I'll be back. No, I'm just going to tell you. So let me just wrap up the rest of the trip. If I'm bouncing, you'll know why. After the Maryland Sheep and Fiber thing, that was Sunday, and then I was flying out first thing Tuesday morning, and there's really not much else to say, but I do have one more picture, because the first leg of the flight, super long, and super long. I've never flown like really a long flight, like I'm sure some of you have, but being on a plane for 5.5, 6 hours is a long stretch for me. And so it was great though, because on the way there, I watched A Man Called Otto, which is with Tom Hanks, and he's great. But I had loved that book, A Man Called Uwe, and the movie A Man Called Otto was good, not as good as the book, but it was good. And then on the way home, I watched The Jesus Revolution, which was good, but I definitely have to watch it on a regular size TV with better audio. But then, so that was on the long stretch, and then my layover was in Salt Lake City, and then Salt Lake City to Portland is like a 2-hour flight. So that was, you could start a movie, but what did I do? I watched my favorite show. So anyway, a little bit of comfort TV there. And yeah, still haven't adjusted back to Portland time. So anyhow, I will be back to show you the Swift, because it's totally cool. And then that'll wrap up this recording. Now I might make more recordings on this channel if I can. I'm hoping I can find like the channel itself, because I had created this channel when we first moved out here, like to document whatever, I don't know why I did it, but then I never really did much with it. But I've been kind of thinking, maybe I'll record some stuff on it. I don't know, because we have our Naughty Knitwits channel, and that's a knitting crochet channel. And so I don't think it's really the place to share other things, because that's what it's there for. But I have other things that I would talk about, like, maybe a good book or a recipe, or I really want to pull out my sewing machine and set it up and maybe try to sew again, because the last time I tried sewing was pre-YouTube tutorials, and just doing that thing with the bobbin and the thread is way overwhelming to me. But now I could watch tutorials on it, and it probably wouldn't be so scary. So I don't know. I just might do it. It wouldn't be to replace Naughty Knitwits. Obviously things are better when I've got Leslie with me, but she's not here all the time. So what can I say? All right, well, if you've watched me, thanks. And stay tuned for that Swift video. I'm sure it'll be fascinating and enlightening to you. Bye. My hair turned yellow on my trip up in here. Because when I first started going, when I first decided to let my gray grow out years and years ago, we put some highlights in just to kind of blend it in, you know? And then I was also just letting my hair be naturally curly. And so I suffered no consequence of those highlights. But then recently I started kind of straightening my hair more and then using a curling iron on it, which I'd never used a curling iron to actually curl my hair. I used to use them to straighten my hair before flat irons. And so a couple things happened. You can kind of still see I burned myself. But I was using it and then all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, my hair is yellow. And I don't really like yellow, but it's not meant to be a hair color. So it was really, really ugly. And it was really bugging me. So I did the unthinkable and I took a pair of scissors to my hair at Renata's. And I started kind of cutting. I wanted to make it go away. I just did not want yellow hair. And so, yeah, I started cutting it. I'll leave these on so I can see. So, the only way I could stop myself from cutting more and making it worse was I got right on the phone and called and made an appointment with my hair person here in Longview. So I went on Thursday and he was like, this is burn damage. Apparently, when you are using a curling iron, especially on highlighted hair, but probably any hair, but especially highlighted hair, did you know that you don't have to have it at 400 degrees? I just thought if it goes to 400, you want it at 400 because hotter is better, right? Well, I learned that you should not do that. So he fixed it the best he could. So I'm very relieved that most of the yellow, but as he was doing it, he was like, oh, you might have a purple hue. I'm like, wait, what? I don't really want purple hair either. If I had to choose between purple and yellow, it's just kind of it might be a little bit of a violet color, but lesson learned, and I knew it before I even grabbed those scissors that it was a bad idea, but I did it anyway, so kind of sums up a lot of things I've done in life, but fairly low consequences because I can always just pin it back, but I feel much better now that it's not the bright. And he kept saying too, wow, that's really yellow. That's yeah, it was interesting. You guys that saw me at the Fiberfest saw it was very yellow, so anyway, okay, on to the Swift. Thanks. Bye. All right, here it is. I'm going to take this off just to show you guys what I loved about this Swift is that you can make it whatever. Oops, you should loosen it first so you don't strip it. You can make it like whatever shape you want. And so there's no in between. Like I've had skeins that are either too big or too small, and so with different ones you're kind of trying to adjust it either with the pegs or the umbrella type that I had. The tabletop umbrella one that I had would no longer, I couldn't get it wide enough sometimes, and then my tabletop one that has the pegs, it's like it didn't always fit. My skein didn't always fit. So with this one, just start here and then take your hank, just put it on there, and then you kind of open it up to whatever point, and this one obviously doesn't need a lot of opening up, and then you tighten the little knob down. And I hope this goes better than the one yesterday because I won't be doing you any favors by showing you me tangle up a skein here and here. And then you can watch as I struggle with. So this is the yarn. Who is it? Malabrigo, I think. Isn't that who that is? Rios. I'm pretty sure. Why is it not? Oh, it does. It says it. Yeah, Rios. And this color does look like the one that was in the picture. It's Chameleon. But the other one is called Whole Grain. And I actually really like the color, but it is not. This is not really what it looked like. And maybe once it's knit, it'll be, I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. If I don't like it, I will just rip it out and order. The one in the picture from Ravelry, the project that I liked, it looked more cream. And whole grain, you would kind of think like a cream color. That color that I got is, it almost kind of has like a purple hue to it. It's kind of weird. But I do like the color. It's just not really what I was expecting. So, okay. There. Now we're going to open it up again, tighten it down a little bit. Now I can kind of see this. There we go. That's what I wanted, that little thing. Okay. And okay. All right, here we go. All right, let's hope for the best, guys. I'd actually like it to be a little further away. What a relief. It worked good. So I just knocked that off. It didn't happen. So that's how it comes apart. And then, so I was able to, I'm not gonna lie, Renata unscrewed these things for me, the arms, and then it just traveled fine in my suitcase. It was no problem. And I bought the lightest one and the least expensive, and it was like $130, which isn't bad, and then tax, of course, which I'm not used to. But anyway, it also comes with this thing, and hopefully you can see from there. He showed, I don't know if I want to do this though, because I want it to be a center pull cake. You can put it on here. I'm just gonna do it because I'm nice. And then you have that. See? And then this can go right on this base. And then you have one of the, and it's got a little place for stitch markers. You have one of those things that I bought, actually one, and look, now I have two. But isn't that cool? I thought it was ingenious, so I like it. Okay, once again, goodbye.